Welcome back to Ms. Shortcut, where history, economics, and global dynamics meet in one quick dose. Today we explore the powerful, passionate, and paradoxical story of France, a country of revolutions, empires, elegance, and ambition. From the storming of the Bastille to Macron's call for a European army, France has always stood at the crossroads of history and modernity. Let's jump into the story of France, where kings fell, ideas rose, and the future of Europe might just be scripted. Pre-revaluation, a cultural and political superpower. Before the French Revolution lit a fire across Europe, France had already earned a place in the elite circle of global powers. With a legacy rooted in the Carolingian Empire and later the Kingdom of France, it was a country of towering cathedrals, mighty monarchs, and unmatched intellectuals. By the 17th and 18th centuries, Louis XIV, the Sun King, had transformed France into the epicenter of European politics, art, and fashion. French became the language of diplomacy. Paris, the city of light, also became the city of thinkers, Descartes, Voltaire, Rousseau. France's colonial empire stretched from the Americas to Africa and Asia. Yet under the golden chandeliers of Versailles, something dangerous was brewing. 1789, the revolution that changed everything. By 1789, France was bankrupt, the people were starving, and King Louis XVI was out of touch. Inspired by the Enlightenment and the American Revolution, the French people rose up. The French Revolution didn't just overthrow a king. It shattered an entire worldview. The storming of the Bastille became a global symbol of resistance. The revolution introduced the world to the ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. But the path was bloody. Robespierre's reign of terror executed thousands, including the king and queen. Out of this chaos rose a young military genius, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon didn't just crown himself emperor, he redrew the map of Europe. His Napoleonic Code laid the foundation for modern civil law, and his wars left a legacy that would shape geopolitics for generations. Modern France, Republic, Resistance, and Renaissance. After the fall of Napoleon in 1815, France wavered between monarchy, empire, and republic, until the Third Republic stabilized the country in the late 19th century. World War I devastated France. The trenches of the Western Front turned its fields into graveyards. But France emerged victorious, only to face Nazi occupation in World War II. Enter Charles de Gaulle, leader of the Free French. His resistance became legendary. After the war, de Gaulle reshaped modern France, founding the Fifth Republic, the system still in place today. Modern France is democratic, secular, and fiercely independent. It remains a nuclear power, a permanent member of the UN Security Council, and a key player in NATO, even while challenging NATO's direction. The economic power of France. France is the seventh largest economy in the world and the third largest in Europe, behind Germany and the UK. Key sectors include luxury goods, think Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Dior. Aerospace and aviation, France is home to Airbus, one of the world's two aviation giants. Energy, France relies heavily on nuclear power, nearly 70% of its electricity comes from nuclear plants. Agriculture, as the largest agricultural producer in the EU, France feeds millions and exports globally. But France's economy is not without challenges. A rigid labor market. Public debt exceeding 110% of GDP. And persistent youth unemployment. Still, France remains a high-income nation with an impressive infrastructure, strong social systems, and global soft power rooted in its culture, cuisine, and language. Airbus versus Boeing, a Franco-American showdown. Let's talk about one of the most intense industrial rivalries in the modern world, Airbus versus Boeing. France is one of the founding members of Airbus, a European aerospace conglomerate that directly challenges the American Boeing company. Airbus is headquartered in Toulouse, France, and employs tens of thousands. The A380, Airbus's double-decker plane, was a technological marvel, but not a commercial success. Still, Airbus has overtaken Boeing in global aircraft deliveries multiple times in the past decade. The battle between Airbus and Boeing isn't just about planes. It's a geopolitical and economic power struggle. Subsidy wars between the EU and US at the WTO. Competitive defense contracts. And influence over emerging markets in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. France's role in Airbus places it at the core of Europe's industrial sovereignty. France's leadership in the European Union. France, alongside Germany, is the engine of the European Union. From the founding of the European Economic Community to today's 27-member EU, France has always envisioned itself as both architect and leader. French leaders have consistently pushed for deeper political integration, defended the euro currency, and proposed collective solutions to migration, climate change, and defense. After Brexit, France positioned itself more assertively. With Germany often more economically cautious, France has taken on a louder voice, especially under President Macron. Macron and the European Army debate. One of the most controversial proposals in recent years has come from French President Emmanuel Macron, the call for a European army. His argument? Europe cannot rely entirely on the United States for defense, especially as US priorities shift toward Asia and internal politics become unpredictable. Macron wants a European security framework independent of NATO, joint military investments and R&D, and a centralized command structure. But not everyone agrees. Some EU countries remain loyal to NATO and US protection. Others fear giving too much power to France or Germany. Still, the idea reflects France's long-standing desire for strategic autonomy. Macron's vision of a sovereign Europe is both admired and resisted, but undeniably bold. France's global presence today. France's influence goes far beyond Europe. It maintains overseas territories in the Caribbean, Pacific, and Indian Ocean. Its military is active in Africa, particularly in counter-terrorism operations in the Sahel region. Culturally, France remains a leader in art, film, philosophy, and culinary traditions. It has one of the world's most powerful diplomatic corps and embassies in nearly every country. And let's not forget La Francophonie, a global community of French-speaking nations stretching across continents, reinforcing France's cultural footprint worldwide. Challenges ahead. Despite its strengths, France faces major challenges. Secular tensions between the state and Muslim communities. Immigration debates and rising nationalism. Climate change and protests over green reforms. Youth disillusionment with politics, driving support for populist extremes. And while Macron is seen as a reformist, protests like the Yellow Vest show how fragile public trust can be, even in a modern republic. The shortcut to France. France is not just a country, it's a contradiction. A nation that fought for liberty and built empires. A republic that defends secularism yet wrestles with identity. A military power that wants peace, but on its own terms. From revolution to Renaissance, Airbus to baguettes, France is a force to be reckoned with. Whether you admire its elegance, question its politics, or simply enjoy its croissants, one thing's for sure, France always matters. Thanks for watching Ms.Shortcut. If you enjoyed this dive into France, check out our other deep dives into global powers like the USA, Russia, and India, all linked below in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and say salut in the comments if you're still here. The next video delves into the history of South Korea's development. How they managed to rebuild after being destroyed. How their car and IT industries have left their rivals reeling. Ms.Shortcut, your shortcut to the smartest country stories.